Okay, so we got another day of development videos. Now we're going to take a side path here for a while and not work on ICBM today. Instead, we're going to be working on a commission mod here and trying to get some audio files up here. But this is pretty useful for you guys who never have done audio files. We're going to go ahead and do them. Now, for those who don't like loud noises, turn your audio down now, because we're going to be listening to audio files and figuring out which ones of these we want to use. Now, I've already got a list of audio files to go through here. So I went ahead and I did some research into what audio files I would like to use here Sunday when I was waiting for stuff to update. Now, I do have a list of different sites to use, and there's a lot of audio files I do need to work on. So let's go ahead and launch the game first, and I'll go ahead and show what we need to be doing. And let me go ahead and close everything from last time we did a video. By the way, that video just finished uploading too, so I'm getting a really bad habit of not uploading these videos on time, and I'm going to try to work on that. So apologies for those who are looking at the video and going, why is he mentioning this day when the video uploaded that day? It's like, yeah, usually if you look at the calendar here, I'm uploading videos a day to 2 days after I make them because of just internet required bandwidth and stuff. So people are using the internet and they don't like the fact that I'm uploading 5 to 6 to, I think it was, yesterday was a 20 gigabyte file for a video file, which is a lot when you think about it. Editing would probably fix that, but we'll get to that eventually. I still have to learn how to edit files through different things. Additionally, by the way, I'm sitting here in the middle of working on a server here, and I'm uploading mods to my Ark Survival server. We're going to be trying that out. Now, I know I haven't uploaded any of my Ark videos yet, but I do have a bit of them. What I'm probably going to do is turn them into a compilation rather than doing a raw upload. So I'll go with some of the best moments out of it. And I've got quite a few interesting death moments out there. For example, being grabbed by a giant crocodile and dragged into woods. That was unique-ish. That's the reason why I say I feel like I'm playing Dark Souls, because I've watched people play Dark Souls. And you see a lot of those style of deaths where somebody's like, hey, I'm just going to go walk around this corner, and all of a sudden they get grabbed by something and thrown off a ledge. And it's like, well, that was an interesting day. We especially got a whole bunch of various things like getting attacked by a raft in the middle of the night, or getting our raft attacked in the middle of the night while we were driving around trying to look for a safe place to stay, which we finally found one. We found this place called Herbivore Island is what it's called. And it doesn't spawn any predators except around the reef. You get sharks and manta rays, and the manta rays are a bitch to kill. We're working on harpoon guns to kill them off because there's this leviathan thing stuck in the rocks nearby us, and we kind of want to kill it, but we want to make sure we have adequate firepower before we try to go and attack it. So, anyways, we're probably going to use this as our reload audio, and let me go ahead and start queuing these up. We'll go ahead and listen to them so I remember what we're going to use each one of these for. So we're probably going to use this as a handgun file. After all, look at it, we got a handgun down there. I went through and I think I was looking for the handgun first, and I found some rifle audio, and I think we're going to use this, but up the pitch or something for the rifle reload, and maybe even the rocket launcher reload. Because the cool thing about finding audio files is that you can modify the pitch and volume to make them sound different. So just because you have a file that may not work for one thing, you can modify the conditions to make it sound different and better. Okay, so let's go ahead and start downloading these. Of course, I gotta log in and download. Let me go toss it over here so you guys don't see my usernames and stuff. I started getting a little bit more secretive about my usernames because people have found ways to hack my passwords, which isn't too hard when you think about it, because I use really about the same password for a lot of the sites. So, given I have changed that password for those who do have my old passwords. So don't try to hack my stuff. Okay, so this game is launched. By the way, this has been going on Twitter as well. There is a high possibility Java 9 will break Minecraft. For those of you who plan to update, do not, or you won't be able to play modded Minecraft. This won't just be my mods, this will be pretty much everybody's mods. Pretty much what it sounds like is most Java applications will not function properly in Java 9. And it has to do with whatever the flip they're doing, but they switched to some kind of modular design and they kind of broke everything. Let me go ahead and clear my inventory. Yeah, we yesterday we did testing for the breach charge, and we got the breach charge to break through the wall here. We still do need to work on this, but I don't have enough time to do it because I have to head somewhere here at 10, which means I probably have to leave at 9, which means I can only make 2 videos. So we'll see. We'll see if I got enough time. It all depends on order of operations here. So let's go take a look at guns here. Now, Wojuju's mod is this stuff here, but so is this right here and a couple of these guns. So this is his handgun, rifle, and rocket launcher. Now, I do have models for these, and I do have to implement them. Like we have the model for this thing. If we can go into, remember how to do third person. I actually completely forgot I've been playing Ark way too much recently. Here we go. So we do have a model for this, and it does work. And we gotta do the same thing for these guys. And I do have models for these. But they don't have a lot of audio. Let's go ahead and get some ammo. Okay, so this guy has a reload. He actually does have a clip on empty. I think there's a default click noise for empty. But there's nothing else. There's an impact audio because how this actually works is this is basically the ICBM TNT blast right there. I still have to do rocket smoke for this. There's a lot of graphical improvements I have to do. As you can see, you see fragments popping out. That is because this is the ICBM rocket code. It's not like I copied and pasted it. That's not what happened. So Volts Engine actually stores the code for the TNT blast for ICBM. So it's running the Volts Engine code, and then ICBM is modifying it when it's installed to give it the fragmentation, because the fragmentations are part of ICBM, although they may become part of Volts Engine here pretty soon. But that works. So we need a rocket audio noise, which I do have a file for. We then need a rocket fire noise, and we already have a click for reload, so that kind of works already for us. But if we go to these guys, they do have a click for empty, so we're going to keep that because it's consistent-ish. But we have no click for fire. Yeah, we have nothing for that. We only thing we have is an empty click noise. That's the trigger being pulled back and going click, 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 if you guys are familiar with weapons. Same thing for this guy. This guy doesn't have anything either. And that needs to be fixed. We need to fix the models too, and I'm probably going to try to tackle both of these today. Get the models done, get the audio done, and that way the client is happy. Since he's already paid me for this stuff, I kind of am obligated to work on it. Now the rifle, I believe, is firing right now. I didn't see any smoke out of here though. There's nothing around here for me to shoot at. I mean, it is a battlefield, but I expect at least a couple of sheeps or something. Might have to spawn something in. Yeah. Wow. Probably something messing with the spawn code. Spawn a ghast. Would be something fun to shoot at. Instant killed. Now the rifle is high damage. Handgun's low damage. Rocket launcher's more destructive than it is damage based. And of course, he's also got a minigun, which also is low damage but high rate of fire. Let's go. That's good enough here for a moment. So let's go ahead and close this down, and we'll go ahead and start working on getting these audio files ready. So I went ahead and I downloaded these. Let me go ahead and drag this over here because I don't know what I got in my download folder. It's usually a bad idea when I have to say that. Yeah. Good thing I did that because there's a couple CD keys just sitting laying in the download folder that I don't want somebody going, hey, free CD key. Well, let's go ahead and create a folder on my desktop. Call it audio. And we'll put this here and we'll start dragging stuff in it. Man, there's a lot of stuff in this download folder. I gotta clean it out here later. So we got these guys. Now, if you notice, they're MP3 and WAV. Now, Mojang, when they built their game, only built it so it works with OGG files. Forget how to pronounce them. It's some kind of open something library. So we're gonna have to convert these. If I can remember how to do that too. Let's probably should have planned this out before I went ahead and got to work here. I want to say I've got it pinned onto my system here. Oh, here, Audacity. There it is. I knew it started with audio something, so Audacity works. Now Audacity is what I use to edit these files. You know what we also forgot to check? What is the license on these? Always check the license when you use this. Okay, Creative Commons. Creative Commons. We're good on both. Okay. This means we don't really have to give credit, but I am going to give credit. Alright, when you make audio files for these do need to be mono, which I see if I can remember how to do. Okay, so let's see. This wouldn't be so hard if my hair wasn't in my eyes right now. It's actually one of the things I gotta get done today is get a haircut and clip all my hair off. And not something I should talk about on here. Now there's gotta be a way to do this. I'm trying to remember how to. Solo? No. Split stereo to mono. There we go. Now it looks like these are both identical, sort of. This one right here looks lower, this one looks higher. And let's see if I can. Now if I mute this guy, unmute him, mute this guy. This one is a little higher pitch than this one. So this looks like whoever recorded this probably used some kind of dual mic system, because this would be your left ear, this would be your right ear. And this means it works if you're trying to... Actually, I can't even think what this works. I'm not an audio engineer, I'm no expert on this stuff, but I've been told you want to always use a mono track in Minecraft, because Minecraft does have three-dimensional sound, but it simulates the three-dimensional sound. So it fakes it out. So you want this here. And then we went ahead and just go export audio. And we got OGG. And then find the correct desktop here, because I got two desktops. I got one that's the real one. I got one that everything thinks is the real one, which is kind of breaking everything. So you can see I got a shortcut to it as well. Audio file, there we go. So here's our audio file. We'll go ahead and save it. And then I want to put the artist's name in here and a link to this track. So this is what we worked on. We just worked on the... Is this what we did? No, that's the wrong one. This is what we just did. Yep, okay. Mr. Slugger 2, so that's that'll work. Put a link here, and the artist name is MN Slugger 20. The thing is, he probably doesn't even own this file, but oh well. Hit OK, hit File, hit Export Audio, export it again. There we go. I have a tendency to export these twice, just because I want to make sure that template thing's saved. So we got that one converted. Now we got to go toss this in our audio folder, and we got to do a few other things. Okay, here we go. Mojujo's mod, source, main, resources, content, or not content, I want assets. Mojujo. And apparently we have no audio for him, so this is going to be fun. Go find, I don't need the tabletop game, but I need my GitHub folder. So go up here, and we're going to go borrow some code from ICBM. So source, main, resources, and assets, ICBM. We want this file. So you have to have a sound file to describe to what files you want to load. Also, I need, what's this file? Okay, that's a placeholder that I apparently forgot to delete. Okay, so we got sounds here, and then we need a folder called sounds. Now I'm probably doing these sounds wrong, by the way, so if you are thinking about doing your own audio in your own mod, do some research real quick, because I'm basing this off of another mod, and I believe that other mod is set up incorrectly too. Because the reason I say that is I think this category right here is incorrect, and it's messing with kind of how everything works. Anyways, we want just make something called handgun. You don't have to prefix with the mod ID because it's already done for you. The only reason ICBM is done that way is I'm just too lazy to go fix it. And we're going to rename this to handgun. Go ahead and copy it. And then we put this in our sound file. Paste. And then we're going to change this to handgun. You can put multiple audio files in here so you can have a variety of audio. So this is really useful if you want to do monsters and mobs and stuff. You can put like 15 different audio files in here. It's even useful for block breaking audio, so you can have different sounds, especially for glass. It adds a variety. Just keep in mind that it's easier to randomize inside software, so you can just up the pitch and volume and you get a better result. The door opening, for example, has a good randomizer on it that makes it sound different every time you open it. But this will work. So this will give us our handgun audio. We'll have to call some code here. Trying to think of how to do this, because the thing is, you don't, inside the code, you don't do the audio for any of the armory stuff. So we'll use all the guns are the armory guns. He's built off of that library. Or at least I built his stuff off that library, so I don't have to work as hard to get his content to work. But we're going to go in here. We're going to go guns, handgun, just handgun.json. So there's already an audio file programmed in here, and all we have to do is do this. The key is going to just be handgun.fire, I think, is what the handgun thing is. The domain is going to be our domain, so we want to grab BuiltBrokenModding because that's what the domain is. And then we're looking for handgun. That should work. We may have to restart this a few times, and I need to go find what the audio file is called. So let's go ahead and pop the armory open. Go ahead and items, item gun, and then work our way down here. Let's see, do a drink real quick. Still never gonna figure out how that works. Where every time I do a recording, I'll be perfectly fine before I do the recording, and then as soon as I start doing the recording, my throat's like, "Hey, we're gonna mess with you for the next couple minutes." Oh, there's an update. I actually probably need to do that later because there's a couple bugs with the current version that I've already noted in older recordings. So every time we fire, we're gonna play. It's called fired instead of fire. Okay, so we got an effect for that too. I believe the effect is already implemented. Yeah, here's round fired, which does gun smoke. We need to replace this at some point. By the way, while we're in here, let's go ahead and start working on the render, so that way because we have to restart every single time we do something, so we might as well try to get the most in as possible. I'm going to go ahead and down screen that, hopefully don't close it, and we'll pop this guy open and we'll do the editing here. Now we can do editing inside of this as well. I like Notepad++ better. Here's our ammo render, clip render, handgun render. Here's what we want to mess with. This is a handgun render. And let's go ahead and pop up a package, go to the RPG, and open the RPG's render code, so I can go ahead and just quickly copy a few of these. I don't want all of these because, well, we don't have as many states as this has, but we're going to go ahead and grab it up. Now let's render here. Okay, so we don't have an inventory empty, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. We do have it equipped. We don't have an equipped empty because there's no empty state for the handgun. The modeler, I asked him and he just said no. Item first person, item first gun empty, so we don't need the empty for that again. We don't have a sighted state, so we can get rid of that. We do have an entity, but we don't have an entity empty state. So here's everything. We're going to have to get some textures here, and I'm going to go ahead and just copy the textures at the bottom here. What textures are we using? RPG bullet. Just grab texture 1. Put down at the bottom, and we're just gonna have to call it like texture 3 or something. And this would be handgun.model is what we're gonna call this. So this would be type of model. Name will be handgun because I'm just gonna temporary name it for the moment. And we're gonna have to go through and we're gonna have to replace all the texture references. And the easiest way to do this is just go replace, or I can't do Control R. It's Control F in this software for whatever reason. Replace all. So that'll go ahead and update all of our references. And then let's go ahead and grab these while we're at it too. And they're both going to be named the same thing. So you're going to have the texture and the model be named exactly the same. The reason we're doing that is because we have an icon down here. So yeah, we can't actually reuse that same name. Let's grab the model here. Toss this down here. And we'll go ahead and copy the models in here in a second and rename them all. So let's go ahead and grab this guy. toss here. Yeah, we don't have to name that one because that's gonna be in the model package, so it'll be fine. And this will be handgun. I think the client actually wanted a revolver, but we ended up giving him like a 1911 type thing. But I was never told about the revolver in the first place. And then you go and you read through his recipes, and the recipe's like, hey, this requires a revolver, and I'm like, well, that would have been useful to know. Alright, so Built Broken, Minecraft, requests, models, Chujo, weapons, and pistol. Here we go. So we have a pistol model. So we want to go up to the resource package, into assets, here, models. So it's called pistol, so we're going to have to rename it. Go toss in here. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to rename it here. I'm going to go ahead and rename it at another spot. So we'll go ahead and copy this as well. And the textures does go in the texture folder, be with textures, models, and you just pop it in here. And let me go ahead and take a look at that to make sure it's completed. Yeah, it looks fine. And we should be good here. And just for this, you want to know what the pistol looks like before we get done. Let's open up this. Yeah, the modeler's like, hey, I'm just going to give you something. And I'm like, oh, wow. This feels like I'm a Roblox or whatever that game is called model. The modeler put like 0 effort into this, pretty much. He put more effort into the RPG than that, which I guess is kind of cool, but yeah. Kind of hard to tell your client, like, hey, that's what it looks like. Your client's like, why does it look bad? Well, it's like, well, this is what I was given. Have fun. Okay, so we got our 2 textures there. So this should auto-load. We are going to have to change a lot of this stuff here because this stuff is not going to be correct at all. Let me go ahead and 0 everything out. And I'll probably go ahead and do this stuff myself later because there's not a lot of point in sitting here and wasting your guys' time while I try to figure out why everything is not doing what it's supposed to do. I think the rest of this is fine. Okay, so go ahead and run and we'll hit debug client. And what do we have? Video time 22 minutes. I'm gonna probably keep this one short. I'll do a lot of these other audio myself, but I just want to go ahead and show you guys just how to do it and get it set up. Especially through the Armory mod. It's really straightforward. The Armory mod basically triggers events. So how it does the audio, if we can pop over here, is it just calls an event looking for this key, and it finds that attached to that audio event is an audio file with this domain and with that name of the audio file, and it just plays it. It does the same thing for the graphical effects. The graphical effects the same way. The only difference with the graphical effects is there is a piece of code that does attach to that name right there. So there is something called Armory Gunsmoke, which is what we're using. There is actually a better thing we could be using for this. We're probably going to switch to it later. Because for the sentry guns, I went ahead and made a tracer style Gunsmoke round. It's really light, so it's barely noticeable. But that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted something that kind of gave the impression of Gunsmoke slightly. So like when you fire a weapon in real life, there's a slight trail that follows it. It's almost impossible to see, but it gives you a good idea of where the round's going. Now, if you get a supersonic round, so a round that goes faster than the speed of sound, you also get a disturbance of the air movement behind the round on top of that, which is a lot of games I don't think do properly. But it's really nice. I'm actually probably going to spend a huge amount of time working on it. I got several games we're going to be putting bullets in, so. Biggest one you guys see me always open up is the tabletop one. That one's I'm actually going to spend a huge amount of time on the graphics because the only thing we have going for us is graphics. It's a 2-dimensional top-down game, so you don't have a 3-dimensional, so we have to pseudo 3D anything in 3D, which is going to be a pain in the butt to do, but it'll be worth it. But we're going to spend a lot of time on making the graphics look really, really cool, so you ignore the fact it's a 2-dimensional game, and you go, oh, that's really awesome. Trying to bring back that old style of XCOM game where XCOM played with a lot of 2-dimensional things. Several different games that do that style, but we're mainly building it up to be a D&D style game system, but it's going to be futuristic, so it's not based on the D&D rulebooks, it's based on our own rulebooks, but it has that same gameplay style. Though there is one difference, in D&D, a natural 20 is a good thing, in our system it's a bad thing. You want to roll 1s instead of 20s. It's just how our math ended up being. Our math rules for low scores rather than high scores, which is weird when you think about it. Probably somebody will complain and bitch about it, but a lot of the dice rolls are going to be handled for you. That's the reason why we're making a game out of it in the first place, is we wanted to do this pen and paper wise, but like most of the people we know don't like pen and paper. Okay, so we probably actually hit the wrong button. Cancel. One of my accounts already migrated, but I guess it doesn't give a crap. You ever seen Battlefield? There's a gun like this in Battlefield that's this small. I scaled the model down too small. I think I gotta scale the model up, because I scaled it down by 0.6 something. Go ahead and pop the render open. Yeah, so this needs to be 1, and it's even with that, I think it's too small. It needs to be rotated by a lot. Let me go ahead and open up that RPG render again, and I'm going to copy the RPG render's rotation code. Actually, you know what we're going to do first? We're going to test the audio. I'm not hearing anything, but then again, I've got my audio turned down really low. Nothing. Okay. Updated gun. Failed to find effect for JSON, yada yada, ray trace. Okay, that's cool. Not seeing any audio errors. Okay, so round, oh, you know, it's round dot fired. That's probably why it's not working. I don't think there's any error code when it runs and fails to get the audio. Yeah, here we go. I think I made this mistake last time we were doing the graphics on this as well, is that you're doing the firing for the munition, so the bullet that comes out of here, you're not doing the audio for the handgun itself. I'll probably add an event for the handgun itself, because some weapons would have an audio, like railguns, gauze guns, particle accelerators. They would be playing audio from themselves, and the bullet itself would probably not be doing such a thing. The reason we have an audio for the rounds is some of the rounds will make more different noises. For example, napalm rounds, you'd probably hear a fuzz or a hiss noise coming from it as it fired, because you're shooting gasoline out the end of your barrel. For those who've seen the Dragonfire or shotgun shells, that's what they are. They're gasoline-soaked shells. They fuck your gun up too, by the way. So for those who like guns, don't get those. You'll have to clean your gun really, 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 really well if you don't damage it in the process. So we'll go ahead and that'll be fine. And so that means we do need a restart, and then what we're going to do is go ahead and fix the rotation on the handgun while we're at it. And we're going to do that by piggybacking the RPG render, which ironically we went ahead and removed in the first place, which we should have just went ahead and kept. Because the RPG render probably is really close to what everything is sitting at. And let's go ahead and just go grab that stuff back up. So equipped. So this is going to be our third person. And then let's grab our first person. Now the first person will definitely need to be adjusted, but this will probably get us a lot closer than me just zeroing everything back out. And then entity, to be honest, with the entities, you don't really need to fix them. The only reason I have a scale change on here is probably because that RPG is pretty big. And then occasionally you need to center these. The handgun probably doesn't need center. The RPG did not, because the RPG was 3 blocks wide to start with, so it actually looked fine. And we'll go ahead and launch again. And I need to really start creating a run config just for my client's mod here, because I'm supposed to be working on a destructible terrain system that he wants to have unique for his mods only. The only problem with that is that's going to modify ICBM's behavioral system, and that means I don't want to be testing with his mod with ICBM running at the same time. Because then if I go to fire, say, a nuke, you won't see any damage on the terrain, because he wants all the explosions to not blow up normal blocks. He wants to have specific blocks designed to be destroyed. So there's some kind of thought process going on there. He has a plan, that's all I know. Most likely, I have a theory that he's going to disable the ability to build out of normal blocks, and you're going to have to use like a specific set. Because I think what he's doing is he's cloning Ark Survival and Rust type of gameplay, because he's got this island map as well. By the way, eventually when his mod pack comes out, we'll be linking it into the videos as why we work on it. That's part of our agreement is that I promote his mod pack when it comes out in order to allow me to publish a few of the mods for you guys to download. So the grappling hook mod, that's one of the ones that got published. That was commissioned by him. Oil and ore was one of them. Gasoline can. There's a few other that are going to be public. The only one that will not be public would be his custom content, because he doesn't want that to be published. Everything else, I think, is going to be public access. I think the idea behind that is eventually he's going to want to take some of the revenue off of the mods to help pay for more mod content, because, well, that's kind of how that works. I don't blame him. I do the same thing. That's the reason why we do curse points and stuff, is we're saving up money so that way we can afford to continue to mod development stuff. So we can pay for TeamSpeak, pay for website, pay for our GitHub accounts, pay for tools of like Premiere, for example. Adobe Premiere was paid for by donations. That's going to be used to edit videos eventually. I got to learn how to use the software. Good thing is I bought like a multiple year license at some point in time, or rather my brother bought it for me and then I paid him. Not to mention I still got to pay him back money too as well. As much as I don't like my brother sometimes, I give him props. He gave me a whole bunch of money to help me pay for college one year, even though he's not in a financially stable position himself. And I gotta try to give as much of that back to him as possible. Luckily, that money isn't coming out of the donations though. So all the donations you guys are doing through Patreon, that is staying with the organization for the most part, and is being used for things like TeamSpeak. It will eventually be used to pay for servers. We're probably going to be paying for an Ark Survival server here pretty soon, and it will be public, so you guys will be able to use it. Hey, look, we got audio. That's cool. The gun is like poorly scaled, and then it's in the wrong position as well, so it's behind my hand. Now we're in first person. When it comes to first person, this is actually pretty good. All I got to do is angle it up by about 30 degrees, tilt it to the right by 15 degrees, maybe a little less than 15, and then triple the scale in first person. So 3 times, maybe even 4 times. Because if we look at the RPG, by the way, like that's pretty good. I actually need to lower the RPG a little bit too. But when you go to hold it like this, it actually looks perfect. See how it's aimed perfectly at the reticle? So when you fire it, it looks pretty good. Although that rocket doesn't quite fly very well. I need to up the speed. I need to add rocket things to it. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, and I got to go do a couple more things. And hopefully I can get more time today to do more videos.